73 here, the machine of Yves Desmarais, the French rider, the 500, the bike that once belonged to Jean-Michel Bale. Number 12, that's Paul Malins, the British 125 rider. 10, that's the machine of Kurt Nickel. Here is Paul Malin on the 125cc Yamaha, representing Great Britain, and one of the quickest men around in this morning's practice. 36 here, the Swiss rider, Philippe Dupasquale, being told, no, you cannot use a block of wood to stand on at the start. Very short rider, finding it difficult to reach the ground. Number 18 for Germany, Pit Beira. As we go down, there's number 9 for Sweden, Petter Johansson. The American here, Jeff Emig, waiting patiently, number 3 on the machine. Number 4 there, Jackie Martins for Belgium. A late choice over Stefan Everts. The riders making those final preparations here. Mike LaRocco, the American, riding number 1, the 500, Kawasaki. Could this be the year that the Americans have their domination of this Motocross to Nations event taken away from them? Number 15, squarely in your picture there, that's Daryl Atkins, the New Zealander. As the riders make their final preparations, the 15-second board goes up, the 5-second board spins around, the gate will drop, and here we go. First heat of the 94 destinations gets underway. Who's going to get into that first corner? And it looks like the Spaniard. Rossi beside him, but it was the Spaniard, number 40. That's David Alves, who whole shots the first race of this Motocross to Nations. Alvarez then leads. Martins and Desmarais were in the inside. We're looking for the first of the 125s. 18, Pit Beira going through there. So he is the first of the 125s. Number 9, Petter Johansson for Sweden. A 125 rider also, Petrakova, 33 just going through. But it is, at the moment, the Spaniard, number 40, that leads. David Alves, and look at this, Martins on the inside, the Belgium on the 4-stroke Husqvarna, runner-up in this year's World 500cc Championship, takes the lead, but he's got Desmarais, the Frenchman, on his case, and Desmarais pops a beautiful uphill pass. The Honda outpowering the Husqvarna. It's the Frenchman then that leads the 500 class on race 1. Belgium second with Martins, then it is the Spaniard Alves, then the Brit Kurt Nickel, there's Caprani the Danish rider, and he's got LaRocco the American. There's the first of the 125s, that was Beira there. Oh, they're so mixed up here. Malin pops a pass on 72 Dave Strivers, the Dutchman. So Malin the Brit on a move at the moment, but it is France that leads with Desmarais. Belgium second with Martins, then it's the Brit Kurt Nickel third. Fourth, it is the Spaniard Alves, and there the Danish rider fending off the American LaRocco. Malin, number 12, the Brit, caught up with Emig, the American, number 3 in the 125 class. But it's France 73, Desmarais. 4, Martins. 10, the Brit Nickel. Then the Spaniard Alves. Then it is LaRocco, the American, 34, just went through quickly in your pictures there, Chanton. There's the 125s. The battle is on for the lower classings, but it is certainly Desmarais, the Frenchman, that has got this first race well and truly under control. Martins is still there, second. Third is Nickel, the British rider. The American climbing all over the Spaniard, Alves. And looking behind that group, will pick them up as they come through. But the 125 battle really is beginning to open up. Beira was leading, 18. Emig was there. Malin, the Brit rider, number 12, is behind him. But it's the Frenchman who has control at the front of this first race in this 94 Nations. Then the Belgium, then the Brit, Martins and Nickel. The American now has moved up into fourth as the rest of the pack comes screaming through. 22 momentarily there, that's Rupert Waltner, the Austrian. First of the 125s, Beira, there's Vial on the inside, and then it's Malin, then the American Emig. And Strivers is still behind that group, so the Dutchman's still in with a chance. We're back at the front with the Frenchman, Yves Desmarais, number 73. Martins, the Belgium, second. Nicol the Brit still third. The American Larocco fourth, number 1. And we're looking back for the first of the 1-2-5s. It's still the German, Pip Beirer, who will be second. It's Paul Malin, the British rider, number 12. Then it's Vial and Emig going through. And this is Werner de Wit for Belgium on the 1-2-5. They are beginning to sort themselves out now, the 500 and the 1-2-5 categories. Demarié still leads. If he stays there, it will be just the 1 point for France from the first race. Martins still second, Nicol still third. 3 500s at the front of the race. Then Larocco, then the Spaniard, then it's the Danish rider, then 67, that's Ross the Italian, 22 the Austrian Walkner, 34 they're going through at Chanton the Swiss rider, with Van Dorn and Lacker in the first of the 1-2-5s. Beirer for Germany with the British rider Malin, then it's Vial and then Emig for America. So those are the top 4 1-2-5s. But here is the top 500. The man at the front, the Frenchman, it's Yves Demarié, number 73. And Nicol, the British rider, number 10, beginning to put the Belgian number 4, Martins, under pressure for that second place. But the crowd go wild as they see Demarié coming through, and look at this, Martins having to fend off the attention from Kurt Nicol. Fourth place then still the American number 1, Mike Larocco. As we look back for the first of the 1-2-5s, it should be 18 Beirer, and it is indeed, but he is now under some tremendous pressure from Malin, and Malin goes through. So Paul Malin for Britain goes up to the number 1 spot for the 1-2-5 category, and they are scrapping back there for second, third and fourth. De Wit, he's back in about 8th. We're back with the leader once again. It's the Frenchman who will be second, and it is the Brit Kurt Nicol, riding the former HRC injured Thorpe Honda. Demarié, then Nicol, and we're looking back then behind Nicol for third. Is it still going to be the Belgian Martins? Indeed it is. And the American Larocco beginning to move forward on the Belgium. Then it's the Spaniard, then the Danish rider, then it's Rossi from Italy as they sort themselves out. And Paul Malin, the British rider on the 1-2-5, beginning to catch the 500s in front. Beirer is still there second, the Frenchman Vial third, the American is fourth, Emig. Here once again the leader, the Frenchman, Yves Demarié, 73. That's 1 point so far for France in the 500 category. Here's Nicol, number 10. That will be 2 points for Great Britain. Then it's Martins, number 4, and the American Larocco, he's 4. So that will be 4 points from this class for the Americans. Then the Spaniard, Alvarez, and then we're looking back behind the Spaniard. The Danish rider, 25, he's still there. But here comes the first of the 1-2-5s, Paul Malin. The second of the 1-2-5s, Beirer for Germany. Then it's Vial for France. And then it's Emig for America. He's fourth. So the Americans at the moment looking at 8 points if they finish in this order. But it is Demarié. Total domination at the front. Nicol still there, second, number 10. He's still being dogged by the Belgian Martins, but the American beginning to move. The Danish rider, 25. Nick Caprani going through as they sort themselves out. Chanton, he's amongst that group with Dietmar Lacker, but there is Malin on the 1-2-5. But the lead already extended in this first race by this rider, 73, Yves Demarié. Nicol trying to fend off the attentions of the Belgium and the American Larocco. The Spaniard still being chased by the Danish rider. Then it's Austrians Walkner as they pile through. The first of the 1-2-5 men, here he is, Malin, number 12 for Great Britain. Still Beirer, second, number 18. Then it's 75 for France, Frederick Vial. There is Strybus. He's moved up a position. Paddy Johansson behind him. And what have we got here? Oh dear, this is the Italian Franco Rossi, 67. He's off the bike, but 73, Yves Demarié, the Frenchman, untroubled at the front. Nickel for Great Britain. It's still Martins of Belgium, and it is still the American LaRocco. And look at LaRocco on the brakes. Very late braking from Mike LaRocco. And that's one particular corner where he always leaves it to the last possible moment before he slams on the brakes. LaRocco wants that position from the Belgian Martins. Behind Martins, still the Spaniard, then the Danish rider, then the Austrian rider, then number 16, Dietmar Lacker for Germany. There's Malin on the 125, and listen to it scream. It's got the Bob Moore Chesterfield engine inside it. Then it's Emig. And Emig all over the Frenchman Vial at the moment, 75 on the Kawasaki. So the American trying to move up a position and reduce that points deficit. It is the Frenchman still that leads. France on course for the single point. Great Britain second with Nickel. And look at this, LaRocco has got past Jackie Martins. Number 4 is now up into third. Oh, the Spaniard. Alvarez getting it very out of shape. The Danish rider going through. There is Wagner once again. Then 70 Van Dorn, the Dutchman. The first 125s and the scrap is on here. And the American Emig goes up to third. Demotes the Frenchman Vial, 75 down to fourth. So France at the moment lead the 500 category with this man, 73. Yves Desmarais, Britain, second in the 500 class with this man, number 10, Kurt Nickel. American third in the 500 class with that man, number 1, LaRocco. So it's France, Britain and America in the 500 class. It's Great Britain with Paul Malin, number 12, in the 125 class. And we're looking for Malin. He should be around any time now. And there he is. Put in Van Dorn, the Dutchman, on the 500 under pressure. It's still the German Beira in second, and there is the American Emig third. So the Americans third in the 500 class and third in the 125 class. This will be 6 points if they stay in these positions. The Frenchman fourth, Frederic Vial, number 75. That's 4 points as the flags are waved. Emig trying to move up to second to reduce that points deficit. Number 6 in the picture there still. De Witt, 73 still leads. And the French are going absolutely wild at the side of the circuit. And look at LaRocco. He's going after the Brit, Kurt Nickel, who has second in this class, the 500s. 16, Dietmar Lacker for Germany coming through. Then it's the Spaniard, so Lacker's moved up a place over the Spaniard. The Danish rider, and there's Malin, the 125cc representative from Great Britain. He's there, chasing the big 500s. It's still the Frenchman, 73 there, who leads. Nickel the Brit won the American. LaRocco now third. Jackie Martins dropping to fourth, and there is David Thorpe, the 3 times World 500cc champion, keeping an eye on his team. But the Frenchman has got this well and truly sewn up at the moment. Under no pressure from the following 2 riders, Nickel 10 and LaRocco 1, the American. Martins, let's look back behind Martins. It's at the moment all between France, Great Britain and America and Belgium. These seem to be the top scorers. Dietmar Lacker just gone through, up on the Spaniard now, and the Danish rider. But the Dane coming under pressure from the 125 of Paul Malin. Beira still there, second. Emig is still third for America. And Vial, the Frenchman, still there in fourth behind him. But look at Malin, showing no respect for these big 500s whatsoever. On the inside he goes. Does he make the pass? No, he goes to the pass on the downhill section. But here is Desmarais through the whoopie-doos, untroubled, former French Supercross champion. Nickel now coming under pressure from the American. And bear in mind, Nickel, the Brit rider, riding in the 250 World Championships for 1994. But Desmarais, to the cheers and the delight of the French crowd here today, leads. And LaRocco trying just about everything he knows. Martin sits back and watches the action in fourth. but the Frenchman leads. Now, who's going to be second? And look at Larocco, late braking again into that corner. The back end of the Kawasaki locked up. What can Nickel do on that 500 HRC engined Honda? They are really scrapping for that second place. It's all important to the Americans because Emig is in third at the moment in the 125 category. We look down on the circuit as we watch the 125s come screaming through. It is still Paul Malin that leads. There is Emig, number 3. Chasing at the moment Van Dorn, the Dutchman, on the 500. It's just amazing to see what these little 125s can do against these big 500cc capacity bikes. They really are on the pace. 34, Christian Chanton, the Swiss rider, goes through. They are beginning to open it up now. Padilla Hansen just gone through as we pick up the remainder of the pack. There is De Wit for Belgium. 73, it's still De Maurier who leads. Nickel holding off the challenger to the American, and Larocco tried it on the inside. No way. Martins could do no more but sit back and watch. The man at the front, this man, the Frenchman, Yves de Maurier, looking at a comfortable 1 point from race 1 in the 500 class. Look at, has he got him? Yes! Larocco outbrakes Kurt Nickel, the British rider, into that corner, so the Americans go up to second. That's 2 points. Britain down to third. That'll be 3 points from this class. It's still Martin's fourth. Very little he can do now about the 3 in front as they sort themselves out in the closing stages of race 1, the 125 and 500 category. There's the first of the 125s. The British rider from Derbyshire, Paul Malin. He normally rides in the 250 Grand Prix. Behind him, it's still 18, the German, Boris. So the Germans on course for quite a good score. Chasing in third, it's still Emig, number 3. They really are settling down now. Can Emig move up a position and join his compatriot Larocco in an equivalent second place? Johansson going through, number 9. Let's look back behind that group. 21 just going through in the picture there is De Wit. 21 being Colin Dugmore, the rider from South Africa. But De Maurier it is that has the front and has the lower points advantage from the Americans, from the British, from the Belgians in fourth. Big factory Husqvarna of Jackie Martins. Here comes Malin. He really is piling on the coals at the moment, and Emig really no chance whatsoever of catching him. De Maurier finished second in the 125 World Championships in 1993, finishing third in the 250 Championship for 1994, but he's showing he can ride a 500. Larocco, the 250 National Outdoor American Champion, really is leading the way here. Nickel not being dropped by the American, number 10 Kurt Nickel there. Chasing that number 1 Kawasaki of Mike Larocco. Can he get back on terms with the American and claw back that position and lower points? Dietmar Lacker went through there as we pick up once again Paul Malin on the 125. Now look back behind Malin. There is Emig, number 3, the second of the 125 men. He's moved up now over the German Pit Bierer, so the Germans now 3 points in the 125 class. The Americans will be taking 2 unless Emig can catch Paul Malin. Here they come, 1, 2 and 3. Yet again, it's still the French from the Americans, from the British. And the Belgium, Jackie Martin, still hangs on to 4th position. Then 16, the German, Dietmar Lacker going through. The first of the 125s with Malin. There's Emig. Now, can he catch the Brit? It isn't long to go before the end of this race. the first race on the programme today, the 125 cc's versus the 500s. The Frenchman going through 73. The battle still on for second and third between Larocco number 1 and Nickel number 10 with that distinctive Union Jack shirt. Martin's beginning to close. Down the big hill they come. It's very stony here in Switzerland. You'll notice a lot of the machines fit in handguards to protect the knuckles from flying stones. First of the 125 riders there, Malin going through. Now where is Emig? There he is, with handguards fitted to that machine. Emig second from the USA. Then it's Beyer, the German rider, still third in the 125 category. As we look at the race leader, the Frenchman, Yves Demandrier, 1 point at the moment from the 500 class. The question now is, where will Frédéric Vial finish in the 125 class? So the French lead the race, but they don't at the moment lead the championship so far. Nickel going through, still at third. Martin's now having to work his way through some of the slower back markers. That is where the problems can occur. First of the 125 minutes, still the Brit. The American chasing hard, Emig number 3. Can he catch Paul Malin number 12? But Demarier under no pressure. The final lap has run. French take a win in the 500. The Americans take second. The British take third. Paul Malin here, the British rider, speaking to the South African world number 1 250 rider there, Greg Albertine, and the machine that won the first 125 race, Paul Malin, as the crowds pick up their positions for the start of the second race, which is the 125 and 250 category together. There is Malin, jubilant from that first race win. Emig wondering what he can do to catch the Brit, number 3. 15 beside him there, that's Daryl Atkins, the New Zealander. There's Monique Bevoorts, number 5. And number 11 for Great Britain, Robbie Herring. Number 2 from America there, Mike Kudrowski. And Kudrowski coming back from injury. Is Kudrowski the American weak link in their domination? We'll have to wait and see. Here they go into that first corner, and it is Albertine. Bollet 26 on the inside there was Klaus Nielsen, the Danish rider, but Bollet, the Frenchman, was with them. We're looking for the first. Oh, that was the Irishman, Brian Steele, getting hammered on that first corner, but it is the South African that leads. The Brit, Robbie Herring, back and forth behind Nielsen and Bollet. And we're looking for the 125s. There's DeWitt gone through, Penny Hansen. Well, they're all through safely, but Paul Malin beginning to pick up places in the 125 ranks. Not a good start for the Brit in race 2, as it is the South African Greg Albertine that leads from Robbie Herring, the Brit. Then it's the Frenchman Bollet, then number 8, that's Jockey Carlson for Sweden. There's Bevoorts going through. First of the 125s has just gone through. There is Beyer as second at Strivers from Beyer in the 125s. There's Emig, and Emig back in about 5th at the moment. DeWitt behind him. They really are scrapping for these places early on, but it is the South African Greg Albertine that leads the 250 class from Herring, second, number 11. Then it's Bollet 74, then Carlson for Sweden. And the first of the 125s, there's Kudrowski, the American. We had our doubts about Kudrowski. 71 just gone through. That was Pedro Tractor. There's Malin. But the South African showing everybody that he has got the pace on the rest. So it's South Africa, Britain, France, and Sweden that are 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the 250 ranks. There's Kudrowski. In front of him, the first of the 125 men, Stribus. There's Beyer, there's Vial, and there's Paul Malin. And there is Emig. So that's the top 5 in the 125 gone through. We're back at the front with the 250s. It is still the South African, Albertine, from the British rider, number 11, Robbie Herring. Behind him, the Frenchman, Frédéric Bollet, number 74. Then it's Jockey Carlson, number 8, for Sweden, and they are scrapping for places. Kudrowski in amongst that group. There's De Wit for the 125s. That's the Belgian rider in the yellow shirt. But here comes the 250 race leader, number 20. Greg Albertine, number 11 for Great Britain. Robbie Herring, number 74 for France. Bollet, number 8. Jockey Carlson, and there is Bevorts, number 5, just went through on the inside. So he's beginning to make ground. There's 72, that's Strivers. Byra 18. Vial just going through. There's De Wit. There is Emig. He's not having a good second race as the American Jeff Emig. Albertine still leads. Herring, number 11 for Great Britain, second. Through those whoopie-doos, the 250s go. Bollet for France, Carlson for Sweden, then it's Bevorts of Belgium, then Chiodi for Italy, number 68. He was there. There is Kudrowski. There's Byra, his second. There's Vial, and there's Paul Malin, number 12. That's the 4 125 riders. De Wit, 5th, and then Emig is 6th in the 125s. So America not going so well in this second race. Even on points with Great Britain after race 1. These are the first of the 250s. Albertine, Herring, Bollet, Carlson, then Bevorts for Belgium. Then it's Chiodi, 68 for Italy. And Chiodi, the only Italian rider left running. There is Kudrowski going through. Pedro Tractor, 71. There's Byra. There's Vial. And there is Paul Malin, number 12. So there's De Wit, still has the American number 3, Emig behind him. But the South African, Greg Albertine, the 250cc world champion, racing in America for 1995, just showing the Americans what they're up against. Herring, second. The British rider hanging on to those 2 points, and look at this, it's Kudrowski moving up. Kudrowski has begun to move, woke himself up just a little bit there. He's got Pedro Tractor behind him. There is Paul Malin, number 12, chasing Vial, 75, the Frenchman. Chiodi goes through, the lone Italian rider now. There is Kudrowski with 72, the leader of the 125 group. Davy Strivers, the Dutchman. As the 125s come screaming through, 6th there for Belgium, De Wit. Emig still behind him for America. Well, the Americans certainly not having their own way at the moment. Neck and neck with Great Britain after the first race. 4 points apiece. What have we here? Albertine is off. Herring has taken the lead. Albertine has hit a stray deer coming down the hill. Well, that's handed the lead to the British rider. The Frenchman, 74, Bollet, moves up to second. Then it's Carlson, then Bevorts, and then the Italian Chiodi, 68. Then it's Kudrowski, number 2 for America, the first of the 125s. Strivers going through. Then it's Malin. He's up to second. Paul Malin up to second now in the 125 class. But it's Robbie Herring, number 11 for Great Britain, that leads the race and leads the 250 class. Frenchman and Bevorts has gone up to third. The Swede, Jockey Carlson, now down to 4th. Chiodi for Italy is 5th. And behind Chiodi, it's Kudrowski in 6th for the United States of America, number 2 there on the Kawasaki. We're back at the front with the British rider. This is Robbie Herring, number 11, riding Kawasaki, distinctive by that Union Jack shirt. The Frenchman, 74, Bollet, and Bevorts. The Belgium there in 3rd. Then it is Jockey Carlson for Sweden. Still, it is the Italian Chiodi, 68. Now the American number 2, Kudrowski, 72, Davy Strivers, the Dutchman, the first of the 125 men. Then it is Malin, number 12, the second of the 125 men. Here is Herring, leading the 250 class from that man and that man, Bollet and Bevorts. Carlson still hangs on to 4th. Chiodi still there in 5th. All on his own now in this Donations. Rossi and Mauro Delago both out with injury from the first race. A hopeless task for him. 12 there. Paul Malin beginning to close on the Dutchman, Davy Strybus. Vial going through the Frenchman. He's third. But Herring it is, number 11, that has the lead in the race and the 250 class. And Bevoorts, the Belgian Marnique Bevoorts has gone up into second. The Frenchman Bollet down to third. There's Carlson, the Swede. He's fourth, number 8. 68, the Italian Chiodi, fifth, and he can do nothing about it. The American going through. Here comes Paul Malin. He's got Pedro Tractor right behind him. Oh, goes on the floor. I can't see who that is, but that was a big crash. As Emick, the American in the 125 category, comes through. I couldn't see who that was that went down, but he really did hit. Oh, Herring was nearly off. Robbie Herring, the British rider, lacks of concentration just there on the downhill, and that was nearly the end of his race. But he's hung on. He still leads. Number 11, Rob Herring from Marnique Bevoorts, the Belgium, number 5. Third, oh, Bollet's been off. Frederick Bollet, the Frenchman, 74, he's off. And he's allowed the Swede, Jockey Carlson, to come through. And here's the American, number 2, Kudrowski, closing on the Italian, Chiodi. 125 men coming through, second there, Paul Malin still chasing. 72, Dave Strybus. DeWitt and Vial just gone through. Vial has got the American number 3, Jeff Emick now behind him. So the French not having such a good ride in this second race. 125s and 250s. They do battle, but not against each other. Herring it is. Has the lead at the moment, but the Belgium here, Marnique Bevoorts, number 5, and Bollet's got back to third. So we've lost the Swede, Jockey Carlson. Here comes Chiodi, the Italian now, and there is Mike Kudrowski, the American, number 2. So they all move up a place, and second in the 125 category, there is Paul Malin. He's got Pedro Tractor, the Dutchman, behind him. There's DeWitt, number 6. Then it's Emick, number 3. There's the German Pip Vera going through. He's dropped down a couple of places. But Robbie Herring, number 11, leads the race and leads the 250 class from that man, Marnique Bevoorts. Number 5, the Belgium. He's second in the race. The Frenchman still 74. Frederick Bollet. Third, fourth, it's the Italian Chiodi, but under pressure from Mike Kudrowski, number 2, the Italian, and Kudrowski puts the block pass on the Italian as the first of the 125 men went through. There's the second, Paul Malin, number 12. He won the first 125 race. DeWitt, the Belgium. 3, the American Emig. 75, the Frenchman Frederick Vial, riding in place of Michele Pigeon, who's gone to do his racing in America for 1995. 11, the leader of the race, Herring. Second here, 5, Bevoorts for Belgium. Looking back for third, it's still 74, the Frenchman, Frederick Bollet. Bollet winding up that Yamaha. The 250 French Chesterfield Yamaha. The Italian Chiodi. Oh, he's got back past Kudrowski. And, well, there's 72. That's Strybus, the first of the 125 men. There's Malin, the second of the 125 men. Number 12 he's got. But it looked like the Dutchman, Pedro Tractor, behind him. But he's in the 250 class. And Vial climbing all over the American, number 3, Jeff Emick. And the Americans not having their traditional runaway races at this Motocross des Nations. Winners for the last 13 years. Are we looking at that domination possibly being broken? Vial chasing the American. It's Herring still at the front of the race and leads the 250 category. Marnique Bevoorts for Belgium, second, number 5. The Frenchman, Bollet, 74, third. Looking back for the first of the 125 men. There's Kudrowski for America. Oh, he's got back past the Italian. There's the first of the 125 men 72. Here's the second. Malin number 12. So it's still Strybus and Malin. DeWitt looks to have moved up to third. Then it's the American then. Jeff Emig number 3 chasing the Belgium. Herring untroubled, but that lead is beginning to shorten. The Belgian Monique Bevoorts closing on the British rider. Herring winds up the Kawasaki into the corners, trying to keep on the pace. Very long races here at the Donations. There is the Belgium, Monique Bevoorts, number 5. He's second in the race and second in his class, the 250 class. Bollet with a big wheelie as he comes out of the corner. 74, the Frenchman, third in the race and third in the 250 class. We're looking back for fourth. It was Chiodi, but it could well now be the American Kudrowski. And indeed it is, number 2. Then it's Chiodi, the first of the 125 men. There's 72. Davy Strybus, the second. Paul Malin in the 125s. Number 12, the British rider, being cheered on by the fans. Then it's Pedro Tractor, 71. DeWitt, the 125 rider for Belgium. Emig, the 125 rider for America. Vial, the 125 rider for France, 75. Urged on by the British contingent there. Robbie Herring, number 11. Through those whoops he goes. But you can see visibly that Bevoorts, the Belgian, catching. Bollet and the American, number 2. Mike Kudrowski. The Italian, still 72, Davy Strybus. Where is Paul Malin? Here he is. Number 12, the British rider, chasing the Dutchman, who he can now see. DeWitt with Jeff Emig right on his tail. So DeWitt for Belgium and Vial beginning to join in that battle. 75, Frederick Vial. There is Byra, the German. Herring still untroubled at the front. Bevoorts beginning to close that gap. So it's Belgium versus Great Britain at the front. France still back there in third with Bollet. America back in fourth with Kudrowski, number 2. There is Bollet. There is Kudrowski now. Can the American catch the Frenchman? The Italian, 68, Chiodi, finished second in the 125 World Championships for 1994. There is Malin. He's still second behind 72, Dave Strybus, the Dutchman. Oh, and the battles are raging. Royal, DeWitt, Vial and Emig. 3 125s together and the crowd are going wild. Can the Frenchman get back past the American? We'll have to wait and see. Herring still leads the race, but we're looking back for second place man, the Belgium, Bevoorts. And our answer is, there is Bevoorts, so still in touch with Herring at the front. Bollet being cheered on by the French crowd in third. Then it's the American. Well, not so many fans here for the Americans. It's an awful long way to travel to the race. And the battle between the 125 still rages. Royal. There is Malin still chasing the Dutchman. Dave Strybus, number 72. DeWitt and Emig and Vial, they're all still there. DeWitt third, the American fourth, and the Frenchman fifth. Herring still leads the race, still leads the 250 class. Bevoorts, the Belgium, chasing in second. His teammates being DeWitt and Martins in the 500s. There's the Frenchman. There's the American, number 2, and then the American looks to have moved up. Well, Strybus has just gone through. Now, where is Malin? There he is. So Malin closing. Strybus locked in a battle with Chiodi, the Italian, who rides the 250. And DeWitt with the American behind him and the Frenchman. They are as they were before, but the crowd are going wild. It really is a battle in the 125 class at the moment. Here's Herring. The Brit, number 11, still leads the race. Where is Bevoorts? Oh, here he is. The Belgian flags being waved for Monique Bevoorts, number 5. third place man should still be the Frenchman Frédéric Bollé, and indeed it is. Number 74. Bollé with his teammates Frédéric Vial and Yves Desmarais. There's the American. His teammates being Larocco and Emig. Look at this for a battle that's raging royal. That's Strybus with Paul Malin chasing him, number 12. There's Pedro Tractor, the Dutchman, number 71. But the flags are really being hung out there. De Wit holding off the American. Werner De Wit having none of it from the Americans. Byron, the German, going through. It really is everything to go for in this 125 category at the moment. Herring still leads, number 11. But Voorts, number 5, still has second. Can he catch the British rider? The Frenchman Bollé, he's still there, untroubled in third at the moment. Then it's the American still, Kudrowski. There were doubts whether Kudrowski would ride. Then behind Kudrowski, it's the Italian Chiodi. And look at this, number 12, Malin, closing on the Dutchman, Davy Strybus. Herring has the front of the race. Will his stamina enable him to stay there until the end of the race? We'll have to wait and see. But it's Britain on target for just the 1 point at the moment. The Belgium, here he is, Marnik Bevorts, finishing 4th in the 250 World Championships for 1994. The Frenchman, Frédéric Bollé, he will be campaigning the 250 Grand Prix for 1995. Up and around the left-hander, foot down to steady himself, the Frenchman looking for that little bit of extra speed. The American Mike Kudrowski with those injured fingers. First reserve behind Kudrowski was the legendary American champion Jeff Stanton, but they chose Kudrowski. And Malin is closing all the time on the Dutchman, Davy Strybus. There's Pedro Tractor 71. And Emig finally gets past De Wit. And Vial comes past De Wit as well. We can only assume then that De Wit has been off the bike. And here he is. Well, with very bent handlebars, it was a big tumble for the Belgian Werner De Wit. Herring clearly at the lead, but you can see in the background the Belgian Bevorts. He's beginning to close on the British rider. There he is. But can he do it before the end of the race? His teammate Jackie Martins finishing 4th in the 500 category in race 1. There's the Frenchman. The French at the moment 3rd in the standings after race 1 with just 5 points. There's the American joint 1st with the British with 4 points. They score points, 1 for a first place, 2 for a second place, all the way down. They count the points from both classes at the end of the race. They add them together, and that's your championship point standing at the end of the race. But look at Malin. Malin is now up into the lead. Strybus is off. Malin passed him on the inside. Strybus tried to come back at him. Too much power. He dropped the bike. Now is Strybus going to lose second place? There's the American now, Jeff Emig. He's 3rd, so Emig looking for 2nd for the Americans. Herring it is that still leads this class and the race, but Bevorts is closing on him corner to corner. Well, there's no trouble for Bollé in 3rd. He's still there. He is not going to catch the 2 in front, and he's not going to be caught by the men behind unless he makes a mistake. This looks like 3 points of France from the 250 category. There is Kudrowski. We suggested he may be the American weak link, and it may be that that is coming true. And Malin leads the 125 class of Great Britain. So that will be 1 point if he stays there. Emig has now gone up into 2nd for the United States of America. There's Strybus, there's Vial, that's Byron behind him. Everybody working out the points. Oh, it's Bevorts. The Belgium's got it on the last lap. Marnik Bevorts wins for Belgium, number 5. Oh, he's chuffed with that. Where is Herring? There he is, that's 2 points of Great Britain. It'd be interesting to see if Malin has managed to stay in the lead. If he has, he would have won both races. There's Bolle, he's third then for France in the 250s. There's Steve Dixon, that's Paul Malin's mechanic. There's Kudrowski, he finished fourth. And indeed, Malin's done it. Back-to-back wins for the Brit. Paul Malin, number 12. That's just 2 points total for Paul Malin from 2 races. Well, Herring's taken 2 points. Malin has taken 1. That's 3 points. And if we do our calculations, that would put Great Britain in the lead. And there's Jeff Emig congratulating Paul Malin. A great gesture from the American. And there is Emig talking to Bolle. We went across to speak to Paul Malin about the race. As we make final preparations for the last and final race of the day, 11, Rob Herring for Great Britain. And at the moment, Great Britain are the country that lead this to nations. The Swiss rider there settles himself down. 8 for Sweden, Jockey Carlson. Herring it is that makes those final preparations for the race. Kudrowski and Bevorts. 73, Demaria, he runs the 500 flag for France. Larocco for America. And Nickel, number 10 for Great Britain. Now, they are allowed to drop 1 race result out of the 3 results. And at the moment, Great Britain are in a very good chance. Now, who's it going to be that gets off the gate? Oh, look at this. It's the Spaniard. And down goes Demaria. Jackie Martins gets hit. Demaria gets poleaxed, and he can't get back to his bike. There's Martins. Gets the big Husqvarna going. Well. France's chances of winning the motocross to nations have clearly gone clean out the door. Demaria hit the deck. Van Dorn was amongst that group, but Demaria now last. As they come down over the jump in the first lap of this last race, there is Robbie Herring. Great Britain, remember, are in with a chance of winning. Where is Nickel? There's Demaria. He's at the back. There's very little he can do despite being urged on by the crowd. Now here we are. It looks like the Spaniard, and that looks like Nickel. Great Britain it is then. Kurt Nickel on the 500 HRC Honda lead. But where is Herring? But Nickel only needs to finish in front of Larocco. There is Bolle, then it's the Spaniard. There's Larocco. Bevorts going through. Marcus Hansen, the Swede, was amongst that group. Oh, there is Carlson. There's Herring. There, that's the American Kudrowski. And Martins, number 4. He's got back up there again for the Belgians. And here is Demaria, 73, at the back at the moment. Having to work hard if he's going to work his way back through the pack. Third in the point standing coming into this last race, but it's the Brit, number 10, Kurt Nickel, that leads. The 5 times national champion, he is way out there at the moment. Now we're looking back, there is Carlson, there is Herring, the other British rider. That's the Danish rider, there is Kudrowski, number 2, the American. So Kudrowski at the moment back behind Herring. But it's Bolle, 74, from the Spaniard, from the American. As they scream through, it's all about this last race. 7 points to Great Britain, 10 points to America, 12 to France as they go into the last one. The question now, who's it going to be that wins the 94 Nations Trophy? It is number 10 for Great Britain. Kurt Nickel, Bolle, second, 74. Then it is the American, then Bevorts, then Hansen for Sweden. There's Chiodi going through, the lone Italian. Here is Herring. Now where's Kudrowski? That looked like Carlson behind him. There is Kudrowski, number 2, the American. And it sounds like he's got Jackie Martins not far behind him on the 4-stroke. 1, 2 and 3, here they are. The American, number 1, Mike Larocco, the 250 outdoor champion. Herring, number 11. The former British 125 and 250 champion, but there is Nickel from the Frenchman. Now, I wonder whether Bolle is aware that his teammate De Maria has been off in the first corner. There's the world champion 250, number 20. That was Albertine. There's the Spaniard yet again, Alves. There's Herrin, number 11. Well, it really is now biting time. The American Kudrowski. Martin's on the inside of him. Whew. We really don't know where to look first. And there he is, 73, being urged on by the crowd. De Maria, he's up into about 16th at the moment. Bolle, second in the 250 class. He leads the 250 class. So the Frenchman really is flying the flag for his native country. It's all down to De Maria on the 500 to get back in contention for France. Martin's up the big hill. Here's the Brit, number 10, Kurt Nickel. Bolle, 74. Behind Bolle, it's the American, number 1, Mike LaRocco. And it's still Nickel, Britain, France with Bolle, America with LaRocco. Then it's Bevorts, Belgium. Then it's the South African Greg Albertine. After colliding with that deer on the side of the circuit. 68. Coyote, that is. Here's Herrin. Now remember, we can drop one result out of the 6 results, and it may well be Herrin's that they drop, but Nickel at the moment leads the 500 category. Here comes LaRocco. He's second behind Nickel. Bevorts second, Albertine third, with Bolle leading the 250 group. There's Hansen, Swede, the world 500cc champion. There's Herrin. Well, and there is Kudrowski. Now, we've got to look back. Martins is behind that group on the Husqvarna for Belgium, and Kudrowski's on the move. Mike Kudrowski, the American, passing the Spaniard Alves on the 500. That won't matter. But the American has got to set his sights on the riders in front, and this one in particular. Bolle, 74, has taken the lead, but it won't matter to Nickel. There's LaRocco, second in the 500s, and Albertine goes up to second, past Bevorts. There is Hansen, number 7, the Swede. The Italian 68, Coyote. That was the Danish rider on the inside. And there's Herrin. Number 11, Rob Herrin. Started off his racing career in South Africa. Bolle leads the race and leads the 250s. Nickel it is that leads the 500s from that man, the American, LaRocco. And look at Albertine, the 250 world champion. Bevorts 5 just gone through for Belgium. He's third in the 250. So Herrin is fourth in the 250 category. Number 11, Rob Herrin. And that was Kudrowski there behind Herrin. It really is beginning to tighten up. This is the final race, and De Maria 73. Despite injuring his leg from race 1, he's given it all he's got. And just look at this. This is the 500cc American LaRocco with the 250 world champion Albertine trying everything to get past him. He doesn't have to pass him, but he needs to catch the rider in front, which is Bolle, 74. Everything is being given at this last race. There is Herrin. Britain at the moment lead the Motocross to Nations. There is Kudrowski. Now can Kudrowski catch Herrin? And look at Martins. From falling on that first corner, Martins has stormed through the race. Kudrowski, possibly the American weak link in the team. Bolle, Nickel for Great Britain, leading the 500 class. There's LaRocco for the USA. There is Albertine, and there is Bevorts. Albertine not able to get past LaRocco. Bolle, Nickel, LaRocco, and Albertine. So we've got the 2 top 250s and the 2 top 500s at the moment at the front of the race. Coyote for the Italians, the only Italian rider left in the donations. Hansen, Marcus Hansen, the Swede. Herrin. Now where is Kudrowski? If Nickel, here he is, number 10, could stay in the top 3. This could be a win for Great Britain, but can the Americans come back? They've gone in with 10 points, 3 points behind the British riders. Bevoets for Belgium, Herrin for Great Britain, number 11. There is Kiedrowski with Martins, the former World 500cc champion from Belgium, number 4, Jackie Martins. Climbing all over the American. Bollé leads the race then from Nickel from Great Britain, number 1, Larocco from the United States. Now, if Nickel can stay where he is, there is Albertine, 20. There, once again, with the Swede Marcus Hansson, is Coyote, 68. Herrin has got the American. Kiedrowski now behind him, number 2. And Martin's pressuring those two 250s. But Frédéric Bollé, the little Frenchman on the 250, leads the race and really is flying the flag for France. But what can Desmarais do, his teammate? Albertine, Bevoets, number 5, Coyote, second in the World 125 Championship for 1994. Hansson, the 500 Championship winner, the world champion. Kiedrowski, it really hasn't been his motocross to nations, Mike Kiedrowski. But look at Bollé being cheered on by the fans here in Switzerland. The young Frenchman really giving all he's got. Larocco, Albertine, the 250 world champion. Bevoets, the Belgium. And here is Kiedrowski going after Herrin, the British rider, and Kiedrowski takes Herrin on the inside. So that puts America up another place in the 250 category. Herrin drops down 1 place. But it doesn't really matter because Nickel at the moment holds the advantage for Great Britain. There he is, Nickel. There's Larocco, 1. South Africa with Albertine. Belgium 5 with Bevoets. And South Africa, their teammates Hewitson and Colin Dugmore riding in the 500 category, out in this race. Kiedrowski now, Herrin behind him. Herrin will be watching those pit boards. The information will be given to Herrin as to the positions for the British team. And look at Nickel, Kurt Nickel. He leads the 500 category, but he wants to lead the race. Has he taken him up the hill? Yes, Kurt Nickel, the British rider on the 500 Honda, takes Bollé, the Frenchman, in the race, but Bollé still leads the 250 class. Desmarais up to 14th now. Now, can he get any further? Albertine 20. The South African, well, there's very little Albertine can do except demonstrate that he can beat the best in the world, including the Americans. There's Larocco, now second in the 500 class. Bevoets, Albertine, and Albertine's been off the bike. Bevoets has come through. So the South African World 250 champion, it's not been his race day, collided with a deer in the second race, demolished the bike, and unfortunately it was a fatal crash for the deer. It is Nickel, number 10, that leads, and look at Larocco going after Bollé. Has he got him? Will he outbrake him into the corner? No, Bollé hangs on. Nickel being cheered on, and Larocco gets through. Larocco, the American, up to second in the race, still a second in the 500 class. He doesn't have to, Nickel doesn't have to win the race. He could let Larocco through, it won't matter. Bevoets, Albertine. It really is coming together here now. It's a knife-edge job. There's Coyote, 250 against the 250 American of Kiedrowski. Where's Herrin? Well, there's Herrin just gone through with Jackie Martins behind him, but it really doesn't matter because this is the man it all. It's all on Kurt Nickel, number 10. The British 500 rider, Kurt Nickel, he holds the key to a possible Great Britain win of the 94 nations. Nickel being urged on, the American flag being shown there to Larocco. Will we see those outbreaking manoeuvres from the American into the corners again? Really late on the brakes, the American. Bevoets for Belgium. 20 Albertine for South Africa. 2 Kiedrowski for America. Here they come, and look at Nickel. He's waving Larocco through. Kurt Nickel moves over. He doesn't have to race with Larocco. He doesn't want to risk a collision, because if he stays where he is, Nickel, this is going to be a win for Great Britain. Nickel then now second in the 500 category. America leads the race and the 500 category, but it won't make any difference. Team orders, obviously those pit board signals being shown to Kurt Nickel, number 10. It's still France, third in the race with Bollé. There is Albertine. Chiodi, the lone Italian, has got Kudrowski, number 2, the American, behind him. But it's not going to make a lot of difference. Marcus Hansen goes through for Sweden, and then it's Herring, number 11 for Great Britain. But Herring just needs to stay where he is. There's Paul Malin. He's already won 2 125 races. He's done his bit, and America then win the race. Bollé finished second. Bevorts comes through. They're all looking over their shoulders because there's Albertine. But it's this man they're waiting for, Kurt Nickel, number 10. Great Britain have won the 94 Motocross Nations. Great Britain have beaten the Americans. 13 years of domination, and Great Britain for 27 years they've been out in the cold, but now they've done it again. Malin, Herring and Nickel, the 94 Nations team. Well, they are the champions. The crowd, they're going wild. They've come from Great Britain to see their team win, and they've done the job. Dennis Slaughter, their team manager, David Thorpe, the 5 times British champion, 3 times World 500cc champion, with Nickel, Herring and Malin, the 1994 Motocross Nations champions.
On retrouvera bien sûr dans un instant, eh bien, c'est qu'il va pouvoir vous dire ce qu'il pense de ce résultat. Geste très très sportif de Pfennig qui remet la plaque